Hello and welcome to the Amazon European Masters. I'm Viperoon, joined by Trouble. My mind just doesn't work sometimes, but we're here for the third day of action. Trouble, I believe this is your first appearance on this year's Summer European Masters. How are you doing?
Yeah, it actually is, and I'm really happy to be back with you. We haven't cast together since I think Baltic 2020, maybe?
2020 finals?
I don't know, man. 2020 was like completely deleted from my brain, so I don't know when it was.
I mean, it's been a little bit of a while, but we've had so much awesome action already here in the Amazon European Masters. And Trouble...
it was not a good day yesterday. If you're an NLC fan, both Fnatic Ryze and Tricked both took the L in a convincing manner. And honestly, my eyes are on Lumina. They convincingly have taken the 2-0 and are sitting at the top of the table.
And of course, there were some very strong performances across the board. Movistar Riders, a team that's been impressing throughout play-ins, looking pretty damn decent in their first couple of appearances as well. But there with Trick, this is what you were talking about. The NLC wasn't their day yesterday, started with this game, and they just didn't look on the same page as PDW did.
Yeah, I think they were just very easy to be read right there. And honestly, we have seen, since it's shown right now onto the clip, we have seen so many cannons. It's really exciting to see them. And honestly, big one of the teams that are supposedly one of the favorites to win it all, taking another one. And right here, it's a little bit of a heartbreak because it shows the solo kill from Bean, but at the end of the day, it was Illumina with the distance on their composition, the better execution. They kept their long distance, and with the Seraphim heals, it was just so hard for Fnatic Ryze to find the fights, to find the backline, and to get the game.
This game, 52 minutes. I was heartbroken for the PG Nats representatives here. Mousesports, massive congratulations to them on that win. I was really impressed with how they played. Sartorius on the Mordekaiser was devastating, but it was just such a long, drawn-out game. Both teams breaking open the opposing team's bases, and this was the final team fight that really summed it up. Bushy, in the end, just wasn't able to stay alive on the Ziggs, and this is the last one, Joel. This was the huge one. Giants losing out to K-Corp in what was a pretty decisive fashion.
Yeah, I don't think that was really surprising since K-Corp are coming in as the previous champions of 2020 Spring. And honestly, they haven't necessarily looked as clean and as decisive as they came into Spring. But of course, they have the time to adapt, to set up the rental, to gel back together into such a tournament and to take it all again.
Well, we've had 2 days of play already. So let's have a quick look at the standings to see where everyone stands, if they're at the top or at the bottom. Of course, it's Illumina and K-Corp in their respective groups who are still undefeated after playing 2 games. We're going to be watching A and B this evening. But Trouble, anything that stands out to you here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look at Group A. You've got 3 teams that completely stand out. Misfits Premier, who have beat K-Corp in their LFL finals. UCAM, who had an amazing showing in the previous EU Masters. And a Go Rogue that this time last year were taking the trophy back home. And then you have Anorthosis win their first game. Even though they lost, they looked extremely strong, and now they have to pair up against Misfits Premier. So even though, yes, we talk about the Balkans and the Greek League and the Italian League, that they play spoiler and maybe they can upset something, I think Anorthosis have what it takes to maybe get out of groups.
Yeah, we've got some really exciting matchups from that group. Well played to mention a couple of the games that we're going to be watching immediately. Misfits Premier going to be kicking off against the Greek team Anno, and then we've got UCAM, Ago, Rogue, Movistar Riders against Tricked. Trick need to get back on form from yesterday to bring the NLC back fighting, but the second half of the day as well. So much excitement throughout this entire European Masters, and day 3 especially.
Yeah, okay, let's not mention the last 3 games because we're not the ones casting them.
Oh, yeah.
I see you, Will, I see you.
They don't exist, it doesn't matter. But there's so much awesome League of Legends to be watched. And we were talking about this yesterday when I was on with Nymera about how every single team has turned up to fight. There haven't been that many teams that have really struggled super hard. But let's have a look at 2 of the teams that we're going to be watching up here first. Misfits Premier in their first game against Ago Rogue. It wasn't massively one-sided, but they were definitely deserved winners.
I find that their team fighting is quite stellar, especially the way Agresivoo plays this fight. You see that he's wrapping around, he's getting in the auto attacks, he's trying to play frontline, but he's also flanking. They were pinching a Go Rogue. There was absolutely nothing that a Go Rogue could do. And here for Anorthosis, I believe there was a little bit of a gap in the draft right here. The Malphite pick for me was a little bit unfortunate. Picking Malphite into Camille, Lee Sin, LeBlanc, Ezreal, and Rakan was a little bit of a kick in the foot because they are all so mobile. It's so hard to pinpoint someone down to create that wombo combo. So I felt like that pick maybe handicapped them a little bit, but they got really close to bringing down UCAM, and UCAM coming in as one of the strongest teams from the 2020 spring split coming into this one so far. I feel again like Anorthosis do have what it takes. They showed it. I just feel like a little bit of the adaptation in the draft, and it could have potentially been a W.
Yeah, I mean, watching that first set of games and looking at Group A before the tournament and going like, Anorthosis, that's a bit unlucky on control when it comes in. But seeing how they played in the first day and looking towards this game, I'm like, they could genuinely upset a couple of teams, and a couple of upsets is all you really need to potentially qualify through groups. So I'll have to see if they can start that off against Misfits Premier, who, as you said, such a great team fighting team. They're really great at knowing what to do off the back of those team fight victories as well, turning good fights into objectives, turning good fights into games, which is something that a couple of the teams in this tournament have struggled with so far.
Yeah, and I just want to specifically because, you know, my bias is starting to ring bells right here. I just want to say that this iteration of a Greek team looks pretty strong right now. Dominant is one of the big names in the Greek scene. If you look at him, he is the generator. He is the moving gear that will move the entire team forward. He is the playmaker. He is the guy to put our eye on. I've heard that he's played Kog'Maw jungle. He's played Riven in an official versus Will of game in this split in the GLL. So a lot of things to look at. But of course, JaxPlank, his name is not without a reason. Jack's gonna be taken away. Georgios, one of his mains is that Zed. I'm wondering though, is it really that big of a threat? I'm wondering.
I'm not sure. It's one of those things where you've got to be safe because occasionally a Zed can just tear you apart, right? You just leave that one through, and Misfits Premier don't want to take that risk, remove a bit of comfort. The Aphelios and Fresh being taken away by Anno as well is quite interesting. Two champions we've seen a lot of so far here in the Amazon European Masters, so don't want to be catching those ones. And the Viego taken away from Dominic. He played that one in his first game in this main event, so gonna be seeing him on something a little bit different.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how many things are going to be left open, because so far I'm seeing the likes of Varus, the likes of Ryze, the likes of Zhao. So many great champions that are up and available, but of course, Shlatan, one of the best Lee Sins we probably have in the ERL level, if not Europe. We've seen his prowess on that champion. He could definitely end up in a solo lane, but when I see Lee Sin, I think of Shlatan instantly, and Dominant is going to grab... He's going to grab the Zins out of the jungle. But that's a good hover. That's a good hover. I'll give it to
I like it.
Yeah.
I appreciate a good hover every now and again. We were blessed with Cabo Shards Lee Sin top yesterday, which was absolutely disgusting to see. The Zhao champion we see so frequently. I think it was Herma pick and ban yesterday just because of how strong it can be. And the Rakan, another champion who's become very, very popular, moving into playoffs in ERLs and now coming into the Amazon European Masters as well, just because of how versatile this pick can be.
Now, Ashe can be locked in here. Picks such as the Nautilus and the Leona that do really, really well into the Rakan. The Varus has been left up and available, but Ashe is just so great at controlling space, especially when you're playing against melee champions such as the Zhao and locking down people. I'm surprised that the Anorthosis prioritized the Rakan over the Ryze, because we've seen a huge incline in Ryze picks in general in all over the world. It's been prioritized heavily due to the amount of early game priority, due to the amount of crowd control and damage that he does later on in the fights.
And we saw
so much crowd control.
Yeah, but they're just going to be keeping everyone locked down. We saw Xmati on the Ashe yesterday, which looked really, really good. And we actually saw Jojo on the Ryze last time we saw him on day number 1. So going to be forced onto something different. Sertuss was forced with that LeBlanc ban. So
I'm thinking probably Oriana for Georgios here, because he's been playing it a lot. He's been practicing it a lot in solo queue, and he streams as well. It pairs up beautifully both with the Rakan and the Zhao. But what that tells me here is that Golden Toast, he's just gonna chill. He's just gonna chill in the bot lane, and we're gonna have Levi teaming up with Dominant and playing towards the top side of the map around JoJo's and JaxPlank. This is what this is saying right here, but I would have possibly liked to see the Orianna, or Misfits will most likely have the chance to ban it out here, something like the Orianna, something like the Syndra, things that can push in, things that can help in the 2v2s together with the Zhao should potentially be out the picture. Maybe something like the Gangplank, because you have two immobile carries in the likes of Ryze and Ashe, and Gangplank really messes up these team fights with his ultimate.
I mean, there's still the Malphite available. You said you didn't like it particularly yesterday because every champion was avoiding those ultimates, but it's going to actually be the Victor taken away, which means that Syndra or Orianna is going to be available, and they could leave JaxPlank with that counter pick if they decide to go in that direction. But they're going to have to decide what they don't want to play into. The Camille is a very strong pickup that's not going to be available for Agresivoo. He played Gnar yesterday, on Monday, so whether they want to take that one away. No, it's going to be the Jace being removed.
I'm thinking right now, you have left JaxPlank's Gangplank open. You're potentially leaving Orianna open as well. These are two very strong solo lanes for the set of Anorthosis that they can grab to complete their composition, and that would look sleek AF if you're asking me. There is the Malphite that you were talking about as well. I think they had to play with the double-edged sword of either taking the Gangplank away or taking the Malphite away because they have the two immobile ADCs. And then honestly would not be surprised the Gangplank was locked in, but it's not.
Yeah, it's going to be the Renekton. It could be going mid, it could be going top. We'll have to see where that one's locked in. I imagine that's more of a JaxPlank pick, but I've been wrong multiple times before. We're going to have the Gnar being locked in for Agresivoo, and the Leona will be paired up, as you said, with the Ashe coming through into the bot lane. So it's something very aggressive and just more CC.
Okay, great. I'm a little bit confused with the Renekton pick. I'm not going to lie. It is a good blind pick for sure. But when you do have the Gangplank up and available to play towards topside, maybe they just wanted a more strong side of the map to play towards. And of course, the Cassiopeia into the Ryze. We have also seen Niski pick Cassiopeia into the Ryze. It works. You put the Realm Warp down, Miasma goes down, you don't go anywhere. So it's a pretty strong pick to have in the mid lane. My question mark pinks fall around the Renekton though, specifically because Gangplank was in the game and it could potentially render an Ashe useless for a couple of seconds, depending on where you place your ultimate, but we'll have to wait and see. I think the Misfits composition is very well rounded up. It has a bunch of crowd control to throw and a bunch of range as well, with the Ashe controlling the fight with the volleys.
If anyone from Anorthosis goes remotely on their own anywhere, they're going to be stunned up for about 25 seconds, and then they're probably dead. On their side, as you said, the Renekton, the order that they pick the champions in might be a little bit questionable, but I like what they've built. I like the champions that they've ended up with. The Cassiopeia in the mid lane, really good into Ryze, as you said. I like the Renekton on its own. It could be something that, if it goes aggressive and gets a couple of kills, or just gets involved early in cross-map plays, could be really, really impactful.
Yeah, I think the name of the game for Anorthosis is probably punish the Gnar in the early game. That's what I'm thinking right now as we go straight into the game. Misfits Premier versus Anorthosis from the Greek League. 1-0 up from the first squad and 0-1 for Anorthosis so far. Again, my eyes fall towards that top side of the map and what Dominant is going to choose to do with it, because melee versus ranged matchup never favors, well, at least almost never favors the melee right there. So Renekton is going to take a few punches in the early game, but if you get him ahead, well, golden toast.
Well, Golden Toast is going to have to use the cleanse already to try and get away, but it's taking a decent amount of damage. Actually will be taken down for first blood. Shlatan, one of the greatest Lee Sin players that we have in this tournament, has picked himself up a very early kill.
This is absolutely huge because now Woolite and Jactroll can play extremely aggressive down the bot lane. They can engage on iLevi, they can engage on Golden Toast. It's so crucial that the cleanse went down for Golden Toast, because that means that Shlatan, with the extra longsword right there, can start topside and then start pathing down bot lane, because the Misfits Premier bot lane will have perma prior due to the summoner advantage.
And it's going to be easy as that. No cleanse available for the Ezreal, which against the enemy team is a very, very bad time. We'll keep our eyes on JaxPlank as well to see if he can keep up with Agresivoo on the Gnar. These two junglers, though, on the other side, Dominant, not the greatest way to start, losing out on a kill to your opponent immediately. And as a Xin, you want to be getting onto the map and doing some business early as well.
Yeah, and you see, again, Shlatan gonna start from the top side of the map, most likely end towards the bot side, because now he knows that his bot lane will have the chance to push out first, meaning that when the Scuttle Crab comes up in the bottom of the map, and exactly what we talked about, the lack of cleanse, they can instantly jump onto Golden Toast and take his second summoner as well. Really, really great stuff right here from Misfits Premier. We said that since the cleanse is down, they're going to play ultra aggressive. That's exactly what we do. Shlatan is also pathing towards the bot side of the map. Let's see if they're going to be able to stack a wave and even potentially threaten a dive.
A dive at this early stage would be very interesting if they can get it going. Lee Sin, Ashe and Leona. Not a bad trio to do it with though, so keep eyes peeled as the Lee Sin will make his way down. And of course, Dominant starting on the bot side does mean that he's already there for the potential invade or counter. He's actually moving into the jungle a little bit, but won't be spotted out by Shlatan, I don't believe.
He was spotted because the pings instantly went down. Dominant is still chasing Sertuss, and now JaxPlank is moving from top side as well. I think they're wasting so much time chasing Sertuss around the map. The bot lane is stacked, the wave is stacked, and Shlatan is indeed going for the third wave dive.
Okay, they're going to go for the dive here. Golden Toast has already moved away. Jactroll trying to get engaged on getting the slowdown. Shlatan now onto Golden Toast. He's going under his inner tower, but it doesn't matter. There's the kill. Another one going over to the Lee Sin, and Levi making his way out towards the enemy tower. Don't know if they're going to go for that deeper dive because they can't really take the tower, but the minion is doing the job for them. Now it's been killed, and the triple knockout from Levi. Can he get the kill down onto Jactroll? He won't be able to with the reset. A flash is burned and only one kill obtained, but it's still decent from Misfits Premier.
Shlatan is the sole freaking five-head this entire game. He gets the kill as a first blood. He goes back, he grabs his longsword. He sees that Ezreal doesn't have cleanse, which means his bot lane is going to play aggressive. Not only is he going to have priority bot side, he'll get the scuttle, but if his bot lane also manages to get Golden Toast's flash, which they did, they can potentially threaten for a dive on the third wave, which is the cannon, and that's exactly what they did. They build up their wave, they dived on it, and now the bot side of the map is starting to snowball heavily out of control together with Shlatan. I feel like Anorthosis, and again, we're talking about Dominant every single time. He's trying to make the proactive plays onto the map, but I felt like the chase onto Sertuss was just without a purpose, and then Shlatan instantly grabbed that opportunity knowing that, you know, Anorthosis are just not paying attention at all the bots of the map, and they just dived.
There was just not really an end game. The JaxPlank moving down didn't even have stun when he managed to get on top of Sertuss, and he was pretty much on the tower anyway, so there was never really a risk of a kill. So Anorthosis haven't started out too hot, and Jactroll trying to make it even worse, but won't be able to land the Zenith Blade as he goes over the wall. So Cassiopeia is going to live to fight another day. Dominant now maybe looking towards top lane, is around. JaxPlank pretty low, but Agresivoo playing very aggressive and could be caught out here. Red buff is available on Dominant if you can get the charge on in, but not.
Shlatan is around. Sertuss has also started moving towards the top side of the river, so Agresivoo is very, very safe right there. And you see that he was also starting to stack up wave in the top side of the map. Shlatan was also there, but because they see Dominant, they're like, fine, let him waste time. He's even TP'd on a wall right now, so they have full... They even saw him stop his back. I think Agresivoo might have cancelled it, but Dominant has been wasting so much time staying on the map that Shlatan can take this to his advantage. You already see he's 10 CS ahead at this point, and he can also start the Dragon due to the back timers of Anorthosis bot lane as well.
And this is not what you want to see from a player like Dominant, who we mentioned before is the one who gets a lot of work going. But just on the Rift itself, Zhao doesn't want to fall too far behind because a lot is based on him diving in, not dying, and breaking up team fights, and maybe even going for an assassination if he builds in that direction. Jactroll again trying to get an aggressive play to work. Has really liked doing that so far on the Leona, has been involved with both kills his team has gained so far. And Shlatan, rather than looking at the dragon...
That's a four-man dive. That's a four-man dive. Every single summoner is up. Exhaust is up on Levi. They know that Dominant is around. I don't think that's the wisest choice for Misfits Premier. But again, they're wasting Dominant's time. Dominant has to hover towards the bot side of the map in case the dive goes through. What does that mean? It means that it delays his jungle clearing. He's again 9 CS behind, and now he has to roam towards the top side of the map. While his blue buff is spawning in just a couple of seconds, he's also gonna lose that dragon, and you see it's all a domino effect from that level 1 summoner that went down from the side of Golden Toast. They've been able to continuously push waves mid, push waves bot, push waves top, and Shlatan can do whatever he wants on the map.
He's so capable, and the fact that you say that the dive bot maybe wasn't even necessarily correct play, but they still got a dragon off it and nothing's returned. Naturally, Leona is going to go over the wall. Will be able to get the center plate this time around under tower. A lot of damage coming in onto the Cassiopeia, and Shlatan should be able to follow through, but the burn is going to be enough. Jactroll secures the kill. Shlatan doesn't need to pick up a third, as it's another for Misfits Premier.
That was so well played right there from Jactroll. I have to give big props to Sertuss because he was facing Jojo's the entire time while Jojo's was CC'd. The second that the CC was down on Jojo's and he knew that he could potentially be caught on the petrifying gaze, he turns around and then Jojo's knew that even if he ults there, he's not going to get any stun down. So he ends up going down to the Ignite. Misfits Premier, holy shit, they're just playing so clean this early game.
They're just doing everything that they need to do. They're not overstepping. They're making sure that every play is a positive one for them. JaxPlank getting bullied a little bit, and now Gnar is even bigger. Could look to try and get some of that CC down if JaxPlank steps up too aggressively, but Dominant is behind him. I don't know if this is the correct time for a gank, but the Gnar has just been used, and Agresivoo just dumps away under tower, and I don't know if they've got big dive potential. You can see Jactroll's already there. They might look to turn this one around. They managed to get to catch onto J-Dog as members of Misfits are turning up. The Ryze is already going to grab the kill onto Cassiopeia alongside the Lee Sin.
And look at that.
That's all she wrote.
Again, you see that Jactroll is all over the map because bot lane is undiable at this point. This Ashe is sitting pretty comfortably underneath the tower. No wave is allowed to be stacked. iLevi is not level 6 yet to be able to take the chance to dive onto any mobile ADC such as Ashe. And Jactroll is doing so much work around the map due to bot lane snowballing that early.
Yeah, and we talked about this, it being maybe at Ashe. They have to hold that point.
Jactroll is there again.
Kick onto Dominant, is going to be chased on through, and he's likely to get the kill there, and will actually survive. Agresivoo as Sertuss coming on through. Can they get the damage down onto the Renekton? Yes, they can, and chasing onto Dominant, who managed to escape with his life just a second ago, but there's too much damage rolling onto him, and it will be a double kill going over to Sertuss on the Ryze. They pick up some nice return kills. It's going to be Jactroll and Sertuss moving back onto the Rift Herald.
Yeah, 2,500 gold lead, and it keeps on growing. You see that Shlatan is in 6 kills already, and right here, this is from playing so aggressive because you see Sertuss moving from the mid lane, and Jactroll is moving top again. The Leona is around, so they are allowed to push their advantages and try to chase a little bit further onto Anorthosis. Sertuss, of course, is there first. Jactroll was not needed, but you see that the backup is already there for Misfits. During this whole thing, Woolite grabbed the wave mid lane that was crashing in because Sertuss was top, and now he's heading down bot lane. They're not missing any CS from any lane. They're grabbing the kills. They're grabbing the objectives. Their macro is on point.
It's really impressive to watch for Anorthosis. It was a really nice play from Dominant actually to survive initially and to grab that initial kill for his team. But after that, it was just a case of, okay, Misfits Premier have got much more in the tank. They were already there, as you said. And now it's just a case of seeing what they want to do with the objective. The Rift Herald was picked up by Jactroll, which of course is
it's fine. He's all over the map. Don't worry, it's fine. He's
basically a jungler at this stage anyway.
Yes, he is.
Allow your Lee Sin to ward hop a little bit more.
I think the correct thing to do right now is probably pop it down the bot lane again, try to open it completely, because you see how them snowballing the bot lane and making and deeming that Ashe pretty much undiveable has given them so much control around the map. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was where they also choose to put down the Rift Herald, but they have absolutely no vision of where Dominant is. So if they stay too close to the tower, they could potentially be getting dived. Looking at the teleports around the map, Sertuss has one to possibly defend his bot lane, but again, it's really scary having that Zhao being around. Ooh, wait a minute. They're gonna play on backtimers right here. They saw Jojo's back. They know he has no TP. They could potentially pop the Rift Herald even mid lane and completely open the map, which is exactly what they're gonna do.
Yeah, they're going to try and grab this mid lane tower, and they're going to be able to do so with 4 members beating down on it with the Rift Herald coming in for the assist. And there it goes. 11 minutes on the clock. First tower has been felled, and now they can move towards this dragon. It's up in 10. Oh, and it's an Inferno.
This is disastrous because the Misfits Premier already has the first dragon, and they're going to stack a second one, which is Infernal, meaning that maybe Ocean is on its way, and Jojo's on that Cassiopeia is going to have a very terrible time stepping up to his mid lane. Ooh. stepping up to his mid lane to try and push that lane, to try and gain some CS. That also means that Domi doesn't have any room in his jungle, but if they got Sertuss here...
Sertuss, he's in trouble. He's been grounded, so no ultimate for him, and he's going to be taken out. Dominant securing the shutdown onto the Ryze, and that one might just slow down taking Dragon a little.
That was a really good pick right there, because I feel like Anorthosis thought that Misfits from me were committed on the Dragon, and they're like, if they're all committed on the Dragon, Sertuss is alone in the mid, they catch him, and instantly that's another play generated by Dominant. He is the moving key for the entire roster. He's the guy who's gonna make the plays. The Dragon will end up going, though, to Misfits from me, and that is one of their win conditions right now, getting to that soul point and making sure that they grab the Dragon. Sertuss is gonna TP mid. He's not close to this play.
Ooh, Agresivoo, he's gone tank, he has the ult, and he's going to use it onto 2, and Jactroll drives on through, but JoJo is the next one there. It's going to be a 2v3, it's going to be a 2v2, with the first kill going the way of Misfits. Premier Dominant chasing on through, but he's stunned up by Jactroll, and Sertuss has now respawned, returning to the fight, getting the damage, the root, the kill. He's going to be able to secure the first for his team, and now JoJo going to be chased away, flashing over the wall. iLevi is there, but Agresivoo going forward, trying to get one more boomerang down, but he can't get it as the knockup doesn't come through either, but the damage does, and the poison burns down for a double. Cassiopeia ending the fight, and a decent one for Anorthosis.
I was scratching my head right there because Misfits knew they wanted to go for the play because Jactroll was already roaming towards the top side of the map. But if you look on the maps right now, Sertuss is TPing in the mid lane tower. There's literally a pink ward right there that he could have TP'd to assist his team. So JoJo's is first on the play. Yes, one member of Anorthosis will go down, but you see iLevi is already on his way. So at the end of the day, they are going to trade 2 for 2. If I'm not wrong, iLevi played it so clever right there, gets into the Baron pit and waits for Agresivoo to step a little bit forward, then assist JoJo's, and they end up taking the Gnar down as well. So all in all, it was a really great play from Misfits that backfired due to, I think, Sertuss not TPing in a position where he could have been there first. So Anorthosis got the members advantage, and they managed to make it a 2 for 2, which if you're behind in goal, that's a worth.
Yeah, absolutely. But with tower plates falling off in the next couple of seconds, Woolite just trying to grab one more, and will be able to do so before the towers
just in the nick of time.
Yeah, just the last auto before it went down. Actually going to go into Golden Toast, but he's going to be able to cleanse and flash away. So Summoner's burnt by Ezreal, but he does stay alive. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, JoJo gets a boot to the face, will be followed by Lee Sin, and Shlatan gets the execution. A kill is easy as that for the Lee Sin, but in the top side, Agresivoo needs to go mega, and he needs to go now. He's got the ultimate, the Gnar. He dives away, but Dominant's going to follow him under tower. He's not looking too healthy. He does have the assistance now of that laser. Gets the stun, gets the slow. JaxPlank's not tanking though as Agresivoo tries to get away. One more tower shot might be enough, but the healer's available. The turnaround, it's going to be JaxPlank who secures the kill. Healing up with the triumph and is able to walk away. But in the mid lane, Misfits Premier grabbing in a tower. Yeah,
they grabbed the bot lane tower, they grabbed the plate, they grabbed both summoners from Golden Toast with only 2 ultimates from Misfits from me. They managed to put pressure in the mid lane. They kill JoJo's, they take mid lane tier 2, and of course Dominant sees that the entire Misfits from me enters on both side of the map. He tries to make a play top that resulted, yes, in a kill onto Agresivoo, but the Don managed to get anything more from that objective wise, and they also lose both of their flashes. My question mark initially onto this Renekton is, how does this Renekton reach the backline? If you've got a kick, you've got CC from the Ashe, you've got CC from the Ryze, you've got CC from the Lee Sin and the Gnar, and so much CC coming out of Leona, how do these 2 melee champions from the side of Anorthosis reach the champions that create all the damage for the sort of Misfits for me? And right where there you saw it that the Zinza and the Renekton even struggled to get to the Gnar. Imagine adding the rest into the equation.
Yeah, the question is, how do they get there? And the answer is maybe they don't, but a really nice knockup on Shlatan will keep Dominant alive, and actually might be overextending it a little. Will walk away. Jactroll, of course he was there. Leona's been there the entire time, and will be able to get the stun down. Dodging away from the crystalline arrow, though, means that Woolite won't be able to keep the fight going as Dominant wants to get his chickens before the enemy team does, smiting away the big one from Woolite's grasp. And actually, everyone gets out alive this time.
Yeah, another very important thing is, if you look at this Gnar, he doesn't yet have his first, his mythic item ready, right? And usually when you're behind, you want to fight when you have your mythic and the opponent team if you're behind, they don't have their second item completed. So they're playing on that 1.5 item spike, and you're playing on that 1 mythic item spike. I think if Anorthosis want to potentially make a comeback right here, they need to find on that next dragon. They can stop the dragon stacking and potentially stopping Mrs. Premier from going for that soul point. And they can also try to turn this around. What they need right now is to move in there now that Mrs. Premier have reset and try to put some vision down. With 35 seconds on the clock though, and dominant again playing on the tops of the map. He's the smite holder. I think this is an FF on the dragon.
Yeah, they might just be giving it away, trying to make something else happen on the other side of the map. There's been mixed success when they've tried to do this in the past this game. We'll have to see what the situation is this time around. Jactroll, Sertuss, both up there to defend. But it's interesting.
They know. Sertuss is pinging it. He's like, guys, this Renekton would not be pushing like this if he didn't have backup. They know. They ping question mark pings up there. You see that Sertuss is respecting the fact that you can only see Georges on the map. He smelled it. Good nose right there, Sertuss.
Yeah, very nice. And Levi dives forward. They might be able to get the tower, but Jactroll and Woolite have now both attended the fight. It'll be a 3v3 and a decent slow coming in onto Dominant from Jactroll. Misses the center blade though, but there's so much CC. You don't have to hit one where you can just hit another 7 as the Crystalline Arrow lands in onto the Ryze. They're going to deliver a whole heap of pain directly to his face. Sertuss securing the second kill of the fight. And it was Anno that tried to make that play work. And they got, what, a tower for 2 deaths?
And I'm actually surprised that Misfits were like, we're actually gonna match you and we don't care about soul points. Saying they don't care about soul points, Sertuss just TP'd right there. Agresivoo is almost full Gnar. They might go in for this one.
Oh, but the dragon's going very, very low. It's going to be stolen away by Agresivoo. He gets the stun as well. Golden Toast is toast as JoJo gets punched in the face. Misfits Premier grab the dragon. 2 kills as well. And they might be looking for more. It's an easy kill onto Levi. Shlatan is a monster this game. And Misfits Premier, they're just going from strict check. The Herald's still alive on top side.
They're just everywhere. They pop down the Herald. They take tier 1 and tier 2 in the top lane. We're thinking, wait, Mrs. Premier and the tops of the map, maybe they just don't care about the soul point because they can fight whenever they want. Well, little did I know, they will engage the tops of the map, they will kill Dominant, they will kill JaxPlank, and then just the Golden Toast are like, cool, since everyone is topside and only Agresivoo is both, we can possibly get in and try to sneak in that dragon, stop the dragon stacking from the sort of Misfits. Little did they know, Sertuss still has a TP available. Agresivoo has been stacking his Nava all this time. Jumps in, steals the dragon, steals 2 kills as well. And meantime, while this is going on, Shlatan, yeah, he acquires yet another one to his name.
That was almost an ace, is what that was. That was 5 kills for a very little return. The dragon secured as well. And Misfits Premier, look at that gold lead. 8,500 gold before the 20-minute mark is dominant. And we talked yesterday about how a lot of these games are going down to fine margins. But as this one stands, it doesn't look like it's going to go that way.
And I just want to give a shout out to the boy, the myth, the legend, one of the best weak side AD carry marksman that we have in the ARLs, which is Woolite. You literally see the KDA of his support and his, and you're like, okay, it was bad, man. But he's been doing so much from minute 1, absorbing the pressure, allowing Misfits and Jactroll to roam around the map, to create these opportunities. The man knows how to play solo bot lane. He's never let the team down, if he didn't in this game either. Misfits Premier have completely opened the game. They can do whatever the heck they want.
20-minute Baron, 11 seconds after the spawn, it goes down to Misfits Premier. And you know, Woolite, he's having a great game. He's like, guys, look, I'm 15 farm up. And everyone's like, yeah, good stuff, Woolite. Proud of you, as the rest of the team just dives in and grabs themselves another kill.
Listen, man, you gotta take the small victories right here, okay? He was playing alone the whole game. You gotta take the victories.
Exactly, and I mean, he could be 15 farm behind, which he's not. So massive shout out to Woolite and of course the rest of this Misfits Premier team who are doing so much work with this Baron. What do you expect them to be trying to focus on with this Baron in their pockets now?
I mean, definitely they can even spread to 1-3-1. The respective lanes cannot 1v1. Sertuss is 2 levels above JoJo's. Agresivoo is 1 level above with JaxPlank. They have the extra items, they've got the extra levels and defenses. They can just spread into the 1-3-1. Shlatan can roam around and potentially threaten a kill. Take that Baron buff into every single lane and try to pressure. You see that they're building up the bot wave while Sertuss is pushing the top side of the map.
And they're just going to be able to secure this tower. There's not going to be any kind of defense here from Anno. They don't want to mess around with this Misfits Premier roster more than they have to, but at some point they're going to have to, because when we start breaking into the base, when we start losing these inhibitors, that is game-losing territory, and Dominant needs to be careful, but Shlatan has no one from him. He gets charmed up though, and a decent amount of damage falls onto Lee Sin. He's going to go gold in the middle of the fight as Woolite gets exhausted. He's trying to stay alive from JaxPlank as long as he can, but Agresivoo is there. First kill of the fight is going to go over, and Woolite is putting out so much damage on the back line, but Sertuss is going to have to join from the top side. We'll be able to do so. Grab the kill on the Jactroll as Dominant trying to get on the Ashe. We'll be able to do so as Agresivoo moving away pretty low, but we'll be able to get the kill onto Zhao on the way out. Sertuss is monstrous as soon as he joins this fight. Remember, Baron's still running on 2, and they're going to try and break down this inhibitor.
Yep, and the last 2 remaining are the 2 ranged champions from Mrs. Premier as well, so it will be really easy to break this down. There's just 3 naked inhibitors remaining right now. Sertuss and Agresivoo can choose to take every single one of them and then back off. This was the best case scenario of a fight for the set of Anorthosis. Agresivoo is turning Mega now though.
Yeah, he's going to be forced back away. He's not ranged anymore. The top lane
TP
inhibitor.
JaxPlank
down either. They want to try and grab these kills. They want to try and cut down the last 2 members with Baron buff. And JaxPlank diving on through, getting the stun, getting a decent amount of damage. Agresivoo with the ultimate only catches on to Levi though, as Sertuss is trying to get away. Gnar goes little and Gnar goes down. But Sertuss might be able to turn this one around. Won't be able to as Levi takes the body block, securing JaxPlank's life. And he's still trying
Shlatan
to
is there.
Shlatan is here, and Levi is 1, 2, 3, 4. He's gonna go down, and Jactroll now, he's the one getting collapsed on, gets the stun down, gets the slow, gets the damage, and will grab the kill. Shlatan's gonna fly on through, and should be able to get the 1-1-1 kill, you've got to imagine. But he's being burnt out, and Cassiopeia putting out a decent amount of damage, doesn't survive this time. But that was a scary potential turnaround. This time around, they lose out on all the Barons, but they gain a couple of kills.
Yeah, Shlatan, I bet, didn't sweat at all there, going against the 4 and 6 Cassiopeia, but at the end of the day, I think this is what Anorthosis had to do. They had to stop the backs, they had to take the Baron buffs because their base is bleeding right now. They have found Dominant inside his own jungle, and Agresivoo is going to TP in for the kill.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of damage coming on down. Can Dominant survive for a couple of seconds longer? Can he delay the inevitable? It looks like he will be able to. He survives for a surprisingly long time as Agresivoo dives on forward. It's one hell of an item, you've got to admit, but Woolite now leading the charge teleport coming on through, and with the Nexus towers being laid bare, 2 inhibitors have been secured already. The top one hasn't been taken down, but there's only a couple of members from the GLL side left to defend. Shlatan goes on his own, gets the kick down on the Jactroll, and the Cassiopeia has been removed. The threat is down as the Crystal Arrow lands with the Levi. He's going to be removed. The first Nexus tower is already down, and on the steps, Ezreal falls. He's not going to be able to survive. It's just going to be JaxPlank left to stand and watch. 24 minutes into this one. No contest. Misfits Premier keep the LFL undefeated.
That game was decided minute 1 when Shlatan got the first blood onto Golden Toast, and they also grabbed his cleanse. That was absolutely instrumental from the Misfits Premier jungler, from getting the kill to pathing bot lane, to diving bot lane, to being top lane, to taking everything on the map, to having Jactroll freely roam the map, knowing you have Woolite and his insurance down the bot lane. I think top to bot, that was textbook for Misfits.
I want to know what these French players and these French teams being given to, like, what training they're doing.
I don't know, man. Something about Polska Gurum. I don't know, man. Something Polska Gurum, I'm pretty sure.
I need to know, because I need to be getting on that for my solo queue games. We're going to jump to a short break. When we come back, we're going to be doing a full-on breakdown into that first game with the Misfits Premier. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few minutes.
He's going to flash in, and he steals the Baron. How did that connect by Edgeway? As EU Masters Champions.
Welcome back to the Amazon European Masters. I'm still Viperoon, still joined by TroubleLink, and we're going to be talking you through that first game of the day, but a second win for Misfits Premier as they take down Anorthosis in Georgia. It was a very one-sided game.
Sorry, hello everyone. I was muted.
She's here. Woo!
Yes, I was here. It all starts not with success, but with a first blood on Shlatan's Lee Sin level 1. I think this is what changed the entire game. He was everywhere on the map. He was able to take the bot side of the map, which then unlocked Jactroll to be everywhere. Even in this fight, Misfits Premier can play that aggressive. And even though they lose Shlatan, Sertuss is there. Jactroll is even behind as well. That Leona was everywhere. You open your kitchen cupboard, Jactroll is in there. You look underneath your desk, Jactroll is there. The fact that you have Woolite, you put him ahead in the early game, he is undivable. He is your insurance, the bot side of the map, unlocks your support to be everywhere. And with Shlatan being so fed, I think there was no contest. Unfortunately, Anorthosis, we're trying to do what Anorthosis do best, right? They were trying to look for the plays, they were trying to look for picks on the map, but it just did not work for them because Misfits were just one step ahead on the tempo right there, and they were able to shut them down on every single lane.
Receiver stealing that dragon and the double ult in the back of it. It's just so clean. And occasionally fights were best case scenario for Anorthosis. We saw it here where they didn't have a bad fight, but the game was already, it was too little too late. And Sertuss, as you can see, hasn't even arrived to this one yet. And as soon as he gets involved, the Ryze, he just changes the face of the game. Yeah,
that was the best possible scenario for Anorthosis because I feel like JaxPlank did the best he could to keep the Ashe separate from that fight. And this is what gave them the likes to go forward and make sure that someone survives or they kill as many members from Misfits as they can. But you see, level 1, that first blood is what snowballed the entire game. Again, Woolite didn't have to do much, but throw these volleys out, throw his ultimates out, and Misfits very decisive and very clean. And we had the question, is this possibly the best team in the ERLs right now? Because if you think that K-Corp are the ones holding the trophy and Misfits Premier beat them so decisively in the LFL finals, that would technically make them better than K-Corp, right? So far they're showing, they're having a really good showing in this E-Masters.
It depends how, is League of Legends transitive? Is it a case of, well, Misfits beat K-Corp, so Misfits are better than K-Corp?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes.
Just LFL, it's not fair. We should have a European Masters next year where K-Corp, where the LFL teams are not invited. Because it's not, someone else needs to win occasionally, guys. If we can make that happen, that would be amazing.
Okay, I've got an argument here.
Okay.
Summer is not the season for LFL. LFL always wins spring, but when it comes to summer, another team always jumps in and takes it from them, from another region. Let's see if that rings through. Let's see if that rings through this year as well.
Well, I've been watching these games. I watched K-Cup yesterday. I just watched Misfits Premier, and there isn't another team. There isn't another region that's been impressing me at the same level.
They're very scary. I think only Lumina looks pretty strong and decisive because they're also 2-0 in their own respective group. We're going to have to see how they pan out.
We'll have to see how the other Ultra League team does in our next matchup. We're going to be moving towards a short break. When we come back, you can see it just below me there. Ego Rogue are coming up against UCAM, two massive regions battling it out. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a few minutes.